Hi guys, welcome to the 12 Days of Magical Holiday Baking, where we're making a series of family favorites, as well as a few new recipes that we want to try because they sound delicious. This one is going to be kind of in between that because I have made it already for the series, but I deleted the footage. So I'm going to redo it. And it's going to give us the opportunity to make a few little tweaks that I think will make it a lot better. It's really, really good, don't get me wrong. There's a few things I would like to do differently, so it's from the Delish magazine once again. Under this for chocolate caramel coffee pretzel bites. It looks delicious. It is really, really good. A few tweaks and it's going to be amazing. I'd like to welcome you to my backyard Kentucky homestead. My name is Kim, and let's get started. For the chocolate caramel coffee pretzel bars, we're going to make this in 3 stages. We're going to do the shortbread crust, which is what we're going to make first. Then we'll do a caramel center, and then we'll do some chocolate on the top. For the shortbread crust, we need brown sugar, some pretzels, some coffee. I'm going to use coffee extract. The recipe does call for espresso powder or instant coffee. I don't have that, but I do have the homemade coffee extract. We need an egg. We need 1 cup of butter. We need a little bit of kosher salt. I'm using pink Himalayan, and a little bit of flour, all-purpose. So I'm going to try using the hand mixer. We'll see how that goes. And to start, we are going to put our butter in our bowl, and then we're going to do 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. The brown sugar, you always want to pack it into the measuring cup. You don't do that with any of the others, just brown sugar. And then we're going to put just 1 1/4 teaspoon of espresso powder. So I'm just going to put a little dab of this coffee extract. And then we are going to beat this up for 1 to 2 minutes until it's smooth and creamy. We're going to go ahead and add our egg in. So next we're going to add in our flour and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So for the flour we need 1 1/2 cups. So we need 1 1/2 cups of flour. Got a 3/4 cup measure. So I'm going to go ahead and do that twice. Make sure it's filled and level it off. So we're also going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of salt. This is 1/4 teaspoon. So we'll do 1 and 2. At this point, I'm going to try to use the mixer to combine this, but I may need to switch to a spatula. So let's see how this goes. Okay, I guess we're done. Okay, that looks good. Let's get a little bit more. There's just a little bit more flour in there. Smells good. So I have a 13 by 9 pan. I'm going to put a piece of parchment paper on top of it. I'm going to go ahead and spray it. And then we're going to dump our shortbread crust down into the bottom. So now what we want to do is go ahead and spread this out as evenly as we can across the entire pan. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray my hands and just do it this way. It'll work a lot easier. So we have our crust in our pan. Now here's where I'm going to depart from the recipe in 2 ways. One, it calls for 2 1/2 cups of pretzels, coarsely chopped. That was way too many. It made it to where the crust and the caramel would not adhere, so it broke into 2 pieces. Also, it wants you to put this into the refrigerator for 10 minutes and then put the pretzels in. I'm going to go ahead and put the pretzels in now. That way I can get them into the crust a little bit better. And then I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator for 10 minutes to let it cool, and then we'll get it into the oven. So our shortbread has chilled for 10 minutes. We're going to go ahead and put it into a 350-degree oven for about 22 minutes, and then we'll be back. So in the pot, I have a half a cup of butter, so 1 stick of butter, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, a half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of honey in. Don't worry if it's crystallized because this is going to melt down. Okay, so our crust is done. All right, so the crust is out of the oven. Again, in this pot we have 1 stick of butter, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of honey, and a half a teaspoon of salt. To that, we're going to add 1 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk. Don't want evaporating, let's sweeten condensed. We're going to shake it up really good. Go ahead and turn this on to medium heat. And then we're going to pour the milk into the pan. I have a thermometer that's also a stirring spoon, so it makes it really, really easy. So we're going to come up to 230 degrees and then we'll be good to go. And we do want to keep stirring this throughout because it will become very prone to burning. Break up the butter. So what we're doing here is to make a caramel sauce that's going to go on top of our pretzel shortbread crust. And this should take between 3 and 5 minutes. Since it is going to take a while, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off, and then we'll be back right before it starts to boil. Okay, we are at 190 degrees, so we've got to up to 230. $2.30. Okay. Take that off the heat. And then to that we are going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla, or thereabouts. And the alcohol in the vanilla will cause that to start bubbling. And then we're going to add a little bit more of the coffee extract. I'll mix that together. We have caramel. Okay, so I'm going to move over to the other station and we will be right back. So I'm going to put a towel down because our crust is still warm. And we are going to take our caramel and just pour it over the entire base. Spread this across the entire surface. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and let this cool, probably 15-20 minutes until the caramel is firm to the touch, and then we will get the chocolate ready to put on the top. So we'll be back. To finish up our pretzel bars, we're going to go ahead and melt chocolate. Now the original recipe calls for semi-sweet chocolate, a little bit of oil, and you melt that either in the microwave or a double boiler. I am going to switch to these candy wafers that I got at Hobby Lobby. I got one package of milk chocolate and one package of the light. And I have about 6 to 7 ounces each in here. And we're going to melt these both down. And then just like the peppermint bark, which if you haven't watched that video, check it out. We're going to put the chocolate down onto the caramel, which has set. And then we're going to put the white on top of it. And then do a very, very gentle marble between them. So I want to go ahead and use some of the white chocolate with this instead of just the semi-sweet. And I'm also switching to the milk chocolate. So I think this will make a really, really good tasty bite. I'm not a super huge fan of semi-sweet chocolate. So I think this will be really good. And we want to make sure that we're stirring this regularly so it doesn't burn. And this is a really nice melting chocolate. Like I said, it's what I used for the peppermint bark, and it did a really nice job. And I did go ahead and chop it up with a knife. Turn the chocolate off. Let me go ahead and turn the light chocolate off and leave that on the heat while we're pouring the milk chocolate. So what I'm going to attempt is just to pour it over the entire surface somewhat evenly. That should do it. So I'm going to try to do the same thing with the white chocolate. See what the best way. To be very careful with this because we don't want to go down to the caramel layer. Alright, I think we'll go with that. Looks good to me. So the last thing that we need to do is add just a little bit of salt on top. This is coarse granulated sea salt. The recipe called for flaky sea salt, but I don't have that. I have a coarse granulated, so just a little bit of salty with the sweet, and especially with the pretzels underneath, it'll be a really, really good bite. So we will let this completely cool and set up, and then we will be back to cut it. Let's go ahead and see if this held together. So it looks really, really, really good. Perfect. That is what it should be. This chocolate cracked a little bit, but the caramel is so sticky that it's staying together. So that's perfect. So we have our coffee chocolate caramel pretzel bars. They are delicious. I do like the combination of the white and milk chocolate. It worked really well. It did crack, but the caramel is sticky enough that it's all holding together. And I didn't have that separation issue because I used fewer pretzels. I didn't have that issue this time. So these are a win. Highly recommend them. They are in the Delish magazine, also probably on their website. So give these a try. They're really, really nice, very rich, but very nice looking treat to bring to a party. So I'm bringing these into work today. If you're interested in more holiday baking, check out this playlist. And until the next time, I hope you have a very wonderful day and happy holidays.